So, greetings, brothers. Thank you, DFW Alumni Association, for putting this town hall together. Thank you to the other candidates for participating as well. DFW has always done a really great job at programming in regards to your golf tournament, your gala, awarding the undergraduate scholarships. So thank you for all the work that you do up there in Dallas and Fort Worth. So I want to have a conversation with our alumni, right? You have a stake in regards to this election. You are voting members of this election. So I want to do a quick introduction about myself and then go on into the issues. So my name is Bryan Garcia. I'm from Chi chapter. I was activated in the spring of 2009 Upsilon class. I am currently the Central Texas Regional Director, where I oversee 10 entities. My current employer is Valero Energy Corporation. This May, it will be 6 years that I've been with the company. Prior to that, I was with Accenture for 3 years. My education, I completed my Bachelor's of Business Administration and Finance at the University of Texas at Austin, and also my Bachelor of Arts in Government at the University of Texas at Austin. This past December, I completed my Master's of Business Administration from Texas Tech University, home to our Alpha chapter. So I want to talk a little bit about my experience at ODPhi. Guns up, right? I started off as a RMDC right after college, and I did that fall 2012. And I think most of us know what that entails, but I want to go on to National Director of Programming and Academics, which I served from 2013 to 2015. In that role, I updated the academic plan. I created a reference main point sheet, and I administered the scholarship applications as our current, national director does. We analyzed all the entities' ESRs and determined who needed to be mandated and active due to GPA requirements. I created a national track for academic success program, in which we work with the regional academic chairs to implement that program. In addition to that, I proposed and administered the National Founders Week guidelines and programming for entities in the year 2013 and 2014. I also held 3 professional development webinars regarding resume writing, and I updated the Omega ceremony presentation from a PowerPoint to a Prezi presentation to make it more interactive for our members when they attend the national conference. And for the first time ever, I created the Omega chapter roster as well, so we could keep track of all of our departed brothers. In 2014, I took over philanthropy because my colleague had to step down. But I maintained a relationship with Teacher of America and distributed the Young Knights program package to all of the entities that were interested in holding that program. Moving on to my experience as National VP of Undergraduate Affairs from 2015 to 2018 under Tony's first term, I led 9 regional directors and the first ever compliant officer. We held monthly team calls and managed semester reports for RD approval during the submission date. We referred to and educated the undergraduate affairs team on governing policies and manuals, the National Constitution, the Risk Management Manual, the Entity Action Plan, all of the policies that pretty much determine the success of our entities. I updated National Point System to ease calculation process and piloted the quarter school winter spring combination. Quarter schools at that point were complaining that, not complaining, but they made the request that they were not getting all the points that they could potentially get. I administered the end of semester and annual rankings for the national award recipients, including the Knights of the Round Table. I attended a regional conference to assist regional directors with presentations and entity one-on-one meetings. So I had the opportunity to attend all the regions except one, the Northwest region. I served as a National Executive Council representative to the Board of Directors, so I have some experience in being in that governing body. I also participated in the Greek Life and University Administration Conference calls with regional directors when there was issues, so I was involved in that sense. I communicate often with the National Insurance representative on questions and clarification of our national insurance policies. Moving on to my current role as regional director, I lead 8 alumni board members and 2 undergraduate representatives to fulfill the roles and responsibilities to a region to further support our entities. I oversee and advise 10 entities on fraternal matters, procedures, deliverables to nationals, and recruitment aid. I also created an entity executive board member training series to educate our undergraduate members as they take on those roles. I led the programming and logistics of 2 regional conferences and 1 Hype Weekend to provide further education and development for our members, along with networking. I communicate with the University Greek administrators and directors on an entity's performance, standing, and compliance. I did win the Regional Director of the Year in the year 2019, and I forgot to mention that for National Programming Director, I also won that award in 2015. So now I want to move on to what the issues are with the fraternity, right? We're having a conversation right now, you and all of us, right? All of us are having this conversation. Give me 1 second. So let's talk about some of the issues that we have. But first, I want to focus on how do we give our members more development through training and education, especially right now that we're in COVID, everything's virtual. There's going to be a loss of leadership. You know, some of those leaders are going to be graduating. So a lot of the new members that were activated during this COVID season will pretty much lose out of that training and shadowing that they would have gotten from those brothers. I want to have active and hands-on recruitment training where we get brothers out of their comfort zone and teach them the skills on how to approach individuals and going back to the basics rather than just focusing on our social media efforts. I want to provide resources and tools for entity officers, treasurers, recruitment chairs, and historians. So that way everybody has the same type of templates and resources and tools in order to fulfill their jobs at the local level. I do want to outline entities. I want to outline for entities that will result in transition success. What I mean by that is that we want to ensure that the current, leadership at the executive board level is going to transition well into the summer, or even, during December to January when some of the IFC schools make that transition. We need to have staff training for regional directors and board members for effective support to entities. A lot of times we have an inequity in regards to knowledge with some regional directors. And let me take this moment to commend all of my fellow colleagues, the regional directors that are really holding down the fort for the nation in a time where we have a lack of leadership at the national level. And then we should also track support from neighboring entities, regional boards, and nationals. So we should be tracking who's supporting our entities and their efforts in regards to events, programming, recruitment. Now let's move on to the financial sustainability part of the discussion. Currently, we have no idea where we stand financially, right? The last time that we saw financial figures for our fraternity was when our current president was going for re-election. That was the last time we saw bank balances, profit and loss statements, and budgets. I've requested that time after time, but it never reaches our desk or our emails. So I vow to actually disclose these financial information, from having quarterly reports to semi-annual reports and end-of-year reports. Why is it important? We need to ensure that we have the working capital in order to fulfill our expenses, and that we can actually reinvest those funds to our membership. Currently, they pay dues, and all they're told, it goes to national insurance. What else are they getting out of their national dues? So we need to ensure the national financial team provides that customer service of working with our members in payment plans. Some of you may not know, but we actually have over 100,000 in uncollected dues. That's pretty big in regards to our history of past debt. So we need to work with our entities to ensure that there's reasonable and realistic plans so our entities can actually pay down that debt. Of course, COVID has affected their financial hardships and situations. So we also need to provide that customer service to be understanding of what they're going through. Another thing is that we see that alumni associations are set up with their foundation. Currently, the NEC does not have a foundation in order to rely on for sponsorships and corporate sponsorships and people to write us checks to provide scholarships and that sort. So we need to ensure that we use a foundation that is supposedly set up to help gain sponsorships at all levels, from the local level, the entity level, to the regional level, to the national level. And I actually would like to take this opportunity to call, once the BOD is done with the elections manual, I would actually like to ask them to do a financial disclosure of the state of the fraternity in regards to finances. I think it's very important for all of our candidates to know where we stand in regards to our fraternity. Now moving on to how do we strengthen our community impact? We need to align with a national partner that is the best fit for our undergraduate entities. And we need to have an awareness campaign that becomes ODPhi's brand. We need to provide additional information on service opportunities and options. What we did in Central Texas region, we actually issued out alternatives of how they could fulfill service during a virtual setting. We also need to go back to reporting our annual reporting on giving, service hours, and our fundraising totals, region by region, as a nation as a whole. Now talking about inter-organization synergies, we need to work with the National Alumni Association and the local alumni associations to solidify a pipeline of members who graduated to continue working and share that knowledge. As VP of Undergraduate Affairs, I actually took that task upon myself. When we got the end of semester results, I forwarded those graduating members over to the NAA so they can onboard them successfully. The NEC department needs to restructure to maximize on collaboration and effectiveness, including response times. Oftentimes, our undergraduate brothers are waiting for responses from our national leaders and overall. We need to reinstate a national mentorship program that was created a few years ago and tap into alumni professionals for leads that could help us deliver a career fair at national conference. I would like to achieve that, have a career fair at our national conference, where our brothers get to bring their resumes and recruit, whether it be programs, graduate school, or full-time opportunities. I also think that by working with the NAA and the local alumni associations, we can increase our sponsorship opportunities through the NAA and the LAA networking. So you might ask yourself, why vote for Bryan Garcia, right? Bryan has experience at all levels. He understands the needs of our undergraduate members and all of our stakeholders, whether it be alumni, the regional boards, or our undergraduate members themselves. I'm a servant leader to all, so I'd be willing to listen to everyone and get everybody in the discussion table on the decisions that affect them. I would ensure that the undergraduate voice is present at the table and no decisions are made irrationally without their consultation. I have proven leadership in action in regards to everything I've done. I'm in touch with undergraduate concerns and the challenges they currently face through recruitment and the challenges that they've pretty much encountered in the last few years. I will follow procedure and check constitutionality of any proposal that I put forward. So I will make sure that the undergraduate body is involved in the decisions that we make that ultimately affect them. Because at the end of the day, the NEC is here to serve the undergraduate members. So I have plans to help our entity succeed. It's a very important that we're all invested in supporting our undergraduate entities so they don't die out in the near future. ODPhi will be my top priority. And to end this speakership, I am dedicated to bridging that business with the brotherhood that we currently have. Once again, thank you for your time, and I look forward to speaking to all of you at your respective regions or your local alumni associations that you're probably representing today. Thank you again for your time.